This is the Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my co-host, Justin McCummer.
I would prefer it if you would refer to me as honorable author or some such. I need my title to be out there.
Justin wrote a pamphlet last week, so that's good. Brian Williams, esteemed Brian Williams of Georgia Tech. I don't know. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good. Have you published anything this week?
No.
Okay. Well,
not yet.
I guess we'll come back to you later. And Scott Clark.
I would prefer it if you refer to me as Sir Scott Clark.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Governor.
Will do. Justin's touting his book,
do that again.
Haywire, which hit stores on March 13th. So
in the past.
Go. It's in the past. Go. It's already over. He's already on his next book. He's on the sequel. We are a movie and TV show podcast. Each week we review the newest releases. We talk about the newest in movie and TV news. We have 2 trivia games, Stump the HO, where we try to stump our fellow podcasters, not actual prostitutes. And What's This Movie, where we play a movie clip and let you guys see if you can guess what the clip is. This week we actually have a listener's clip. We flashback review a little known or obscure film, kind of to give you something to leave with, and hopefully you can watch a movie you never even thought to watch before. And each week we have a topic that's on ours or our listeners' minds. This week on From the Outside In, we're going to talk about how a little film company tried to fuck me up the ass. So stick around for that. You can always find us on Twitter at H_outsider, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and if you want to email us, feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. How's everybody doing?
Fan-fucking-tastic.
That sounds fantastic. You had a great week?
Not really.
Really?
Well, it's been busy, just extremely busy, promoting the book and dealing with, the social media aspects of it. But coming on this past weekend and talking with you was definitely the highlight of it all.
Aw.
He's so full
Wow,
of
and that
shit.
says a lot because I know you were on The View earlier this week promoting your book. I saw you on Leno promoting the book, so that was.
Yeah.
I know
did
you've
the
been
top
busy.
10 list.
I know.
It's been busy, but it's been good.
As a New York Times #3 bestseller.
That's true. Congratulations.
Is it really?
No.
Yeah,
Fuck
absolutely.
no.
Oh,
I wish.
Only Scott Clark.
Man,
well, I
why'd
did.
you-
I thought it was BS, and then you guys are like, "Oh yeah, that's right." It's like holy
Only
hell.
Scott Clark would actually ask, really?
I'm
I'm
the
sorry.
everyman.
If I was #3 on the bestseller list right now, I don't know if I'd be here. I mean, not to say you guys would suddenly be beneath me. It's more a fact of I'm probably doing lots of shit right now.
Yeah, spending money. Playing
I'm in New
Kanye
York.
West songs. when you're driving around in your Bentley.
Someday.
Well, let's get into movie news. First things first, the Cat in the Hat, thanks to the Lorax success, is going to get the 3D animated feature reboot treatment. So they're going to reboot the Cat in the Hat. You know, they had that shitty Mike Myers movie like a few years ago.
As long as Mike Myers isn't anywhere near this project.
He's free. I know that. He doesn't have anything going on, but apparently he's not part of it at all.
God.
They're going to do it the same way they did with the Lorax, where it's completely 3D animated. I actually think it's fine. I don't really think people are going to remember the Mike Myers one at all because it sucked. But
They should have done this in the first
Yeah,
place.
they really should have. But the technology probably wasn't there. That was 8 years ago, wasn't it?
did anybody else
Maybe
besides
not the 3D version, but certainly they could have done, a Toy Story-esque sort of CG animation.
they could have done anything better than what they did?
That was awful.
It was god awful, and basically took childhood memories and spit on them, and then
Raped them, just bent them over a chair and had its nasty way with them.
and dressed them up like a creepy man in a creepy clown costume. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it just
They even
wasn't
call it
like
daddy.
Did you guys see that Dr. Seuss's widow is signed on to be like an executive producer or something?
really.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Which is okay. I guess it's neat and all, but I just didn't. I was kind of shocked that he had somebody alive that he was married to.
Why?
I mean, I thought he was. I thought he was dead a long, long time ago.
It was 91,
No.
wasn't it?
Well, maybe he married. I mean, had a lot of money, so he probably married a young blonde. I mean, that's what you do when you're rich. You'll find out soon, Justin.
I'll let my wife know.
Yeah, she'll be.
Like, honey, the clock is ticking.
Oh, all right. Another piece of news: Sly Stallone, or Sylvester Stallone, as he's known in formal circles, commented on Expendables 2. You know, we talked. Well, actually, you guys talked. I wasn't here that week. But,
Yeah, that happens a lot.
wow.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Wow. Asshole amigo. A few weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever it was, Sly Stallone was saying how Expendables 2 is going to be rated PG-13 because he wants to appeal to a broader audience, et cetera, et cetera. Now,
As in women?
What?
Like women?
Broader? Really? You just did that? Well, there goes our 4 female listeners. Thank you.
Right.
Nice.
Way to break
I'm
up the
joking.
70s,
Yeah.
women's reference there.
Thanks for costing us dames. I appreciate it.
I don't know how the skirts are going to get over it.
Okay, well, he released a statement that said, after taking in all the odd rumors and hearsay, Expendables 2 is an R. That's great that they're going to go back to that, and I assume that means the fans won. But the statement makes it seem like he didn't confirm it, and he did. He confirmed it like 2 months ago, that, yes, this is it, and this is why, and what do you guys think? I mean, I'm glad.
It's called spin. Most people don't realize that he said that a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, whatever. So, yeah, it's whatever. It is what it is. He's just came in. It really doesn't make sense to go PG-13 anyway, because the movie is for anybody that remembers all of these guys from the 80s and early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And we're over 18.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's over 18 at this point. So,
Does this mean
Now,
Chuck
if-
Norris is off the project?
No, he's still on it.
Really? I thought that was the whole thing. Is it?
That was blown out of proportion. That was just a bunch of spin bullshit.
Well, I was about to say, if this means the fans won, did that mean Chuck lost? Because I was under the impression Chuck Norris didn't lose.
I was just...
I'm pretty sure he never has. Oh, poor Sly. He's going to get his ass beat by Chuck Norris now. A roundhouse kick to the face.
in cowboy boots.
From his chin.
Yes. And it's going to be right after a life lesson in how bullying is wrong. Because that's what Chuck
Walker
Norris
says
does.
I have AIDS.
Okay, here's another development I thought was interesting. WWE Films, that's them wrestling people,
wrestling.
is teaming with Lionsgate to, wait for it, resurrect the Leprechaun franchise.
What the fuck?
Jennifer Aniston is pissed. For those that don't know, that was her first movie, was Leprechaun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of midget wrestlers? Oh, I'm sorry, wrestlers?
I don't know. That would be awesome. I would pay to see that midget wrestling with like a little leprechaun on the side. That'd be great. Oh, my Lucky Charms.
I never saw any of the Leprechaun movies, but I heard just that they're just ridiculously campy, horrible.
They're god awful. They're not. The only one that was cool is one with like iced tea in it.
Wasn't that the fourth one? In the Hood or whatever?
Yeah, it was like Leprechaun in the
Like,
Hood.
they actually went to the hood twice, though, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they went in space. I mean, Leprechaun, that motherfucker got around. That rainbow went all over the place. It was crazy rainbow. Crazy rainbow. So what do you guys think about, is this nostalgic for anyone in this podcast at all?
No.
No.
No, really? You're not, like, you're not hoping like Peter Dinklage just suits up and,
Oh, no.
All right, well, shit, if he's going to suit up, then I guess.
well, it's either him or Wee Man. I don't know who the other prominent, like, small people out there are. Gary Coleman's free. They could
Guess
revamp
there's
it.
Mini-Me.
Oh, there you go. Vern Troyer. He's probably out of rehab by now.
Well, there's those Little People, Big World. Maybe surely that show's got to be over at this point.
I don't think so.
Maybe, really?
My wife, it was on TV the other day. My wife was watching it. Maybe it was a rerun, but
I don't know. This subject's going long.
See what I did there?
See what I did there? Okay, here's sad news. If you listened last week, you heard John Carter's review, which Scott wrongly didn't like.
Just ignore Scott.
Yeah, Scott, he didn't know what he's talking about last week, and normally he gets it, but last week I don't know. He was on the dope. But it's
Let it be a lesson, kids. Don't be
I
like
love how
Scott.
I disagree and think a movie is not worth what it is, and it flops, and I'm still wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Yep, that's how it works. I'm sorry, Scott. Don't cry.
Don't listen to him, everybody. This
Don't
movie
cry.
was not fun.
Okay, well that's his opinion.
Shut off his mic.
Yeah, how do you do that? I gotta figure that out. But John Carter, for whatever reason, a lot of people actually has gotten very good reviews. I've gotten raves from it from everybody I've talked to, except Scott Clark. But it was astronomically over budget, and so Disney has called for it to be a $200 million write-off. Wow, that is the biggest flop based on budget in history, exceeding Cutthroat Island. That
And Waterworld.
pirate classic starring Gina Davis and Matthew Modine. Matthew Modine, a superhero.
I didn't know
Up to today, it's made $181 million worldwide.
Yes.
I don't see how. I mean, granted, it's been out a week, maybe. Has it been a full week?
2 weeks. Week and a half.
A week and a half, and it's made almost $200 million. Granted, it's probably not going to make back its budget and a lot of profit, but I still feel like this movie is being turned into some kind of whipping boy that it doesn't deserve to be turned into, because the story isn't finished on how much it's going to make in theaters. And I can guarantee you when it hits DVD and on demand and everything else, they are going to make quite a bit of money, because the people who didn't go to the theaters to see it are more than likely going to rent it, or they're going to download it, or they're just going to go and buy the thing. So I think it is far too early to say that this thing is a flop. I doubt it'll get a sequel at this point, because I think now there's too much of a stink on it. But I guarantee you Disney's going to make their money back on this. And people are making, I think, far too much out of it.
Well, here's what they're saying. It's not going to, the biggest flop in terms of what the budget was versus what the returns were. Because it literally, based on the budget and the marketing, would have to make, from what I read, it was like somewhere around $625 to $700 million worldwide to break even. And they're forecasting based on, I guess they can tell, I mean, it's released in every major territory now, that it's probably going to do close to $300 million total. And you figure then it's got to recoup another $300 million on ancillaries, which is DVD, Blu-ray, all that stuff. So eventually it will break even, but I don't think it's ever going to make money. I mean, that's why they're calling it.
It was 360, wasn't it? 360 million?
No, they're saying the budget was 250 and then another 100 and something million for marketing. Okay. So yeah, something like that. But regardless,
so then it has to make double the production budget plus the marketing budget to break even.
No, it's about $400 million, and plus, remember, they don't get everything. Plus, and overseas they don't recoup as much as they do in the U.S. They only get a smaller percentage. That's why they love the U.S. numbers better, because they've got such a monopoly on the fucking theaters here. So they can just demand whatever they want. They have to sell the rights to other companies and then recoup that money from them. It's complicated. Nobody's going to be interested if I keep going. So,
I just hope Disney's happy, because I think a lot of the failure of this movie lies directly in their marketing department, and somebody should be fucking fired.
I agree. I've said that before. I said that last week.
Sure, I'm backing you up, bro.
I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this movie, because you give me crap, but you guys have, me and Aaron are the ones that saw it, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I hope you like it, but I'm just curious to hear what you think of it.
Well, we'll find out. Trust me, when Justin sees it, we'll know.
I don't know.
We'll know.
But I mean, especially because of Justin's absolute love for Star Wars. Not that this is a Star Wars movie or anything like that, but it's feels
very reminiscent.
Yeah, exactly. And I really am curious to hear what he thinks of it, and Brian too. So get on that shit, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, sir.
What's interesting is I was actually looking at, and this is not about me, but I was looking at reviews somebody had written of one of my short stories, and they directly referenced John Carter of Mars. So yeah, I am, I think, geared to enjoy this sort of story. But that doesn't mean I'm going to walk out of it, and if I hate it, force myself to change my own opinion on it. I know what it is to like movies like this that so many people just don't have a taste for, and they hate it really not because of the movie, but because it's just not made for them.
Well, and I said it last week. I think some people are not loving it because they think it's a ripoff of Star Wars. And unfortunately, they don't realize the whole story behind it, so it seems like it to them. So I get
They're
that.
dumb.
They're misinformed. And maybe dumb. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Michael Bay, everybody's favorite explosion expert, is
his life is awesome.
Yeah. His life probably is awesome. He probably has explosions in his backyard when he wakes up. He just opens the windows, draws the shades, and shit blows up.
Did you ever see that commercial he did where he was talking about how awesome his life is, and he's no matter whether he's grilling food out in the backyard or making movies, there's just all these explosions going off behind him every time he says it.
I remember that.
It's fucking hysterical.
That's great.
It's good that he has a sense of humor about it. Well, something I don't have much of a sense of humor about, and this is probably right up Scotty's alley, because I know, well, it's the Ninja Turtles. We're talking about the Ninja Turtles.
I wasn't allowed to watch the Ninja Turtles.
Really? Well, then it's right up somebody else's alley. Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes, and this has caused a big scuttle on the internet. Is handling
The internet?
Yeah.
Upset about something?
What?
Is handling the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot. And he said during a press conference for Nickelodeon that the aliens are an alien race now. In other words, they're not really created by radioactive ooze.
Yes. The aliens are an alien race?
Sorry.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah, kind of a given.
Flock yourself. It says the turtles are an alien race now, not affected by the radioactive ooze. They're not created by radioactive ooze. And then he told the fans when they reacted and said, "What? Motherfucker, what?" He said, "Chill. Chill, fans, chill."
He told the fans
Yeah,
to
he
chill?
told he said it in writing. He said, "Chill. Take it easy, bro. It is what it is. Wait it out. Wait till you see the script. We're expanding the origin story." What do you guys think?
I mean, his actual quote here was, let's see, I got it right here. "Shut the fuck up. Just wait till you see the fucking movie, and then you'll fucking love me again."
You gotta love those balls.
Yeah.
I think
quote,
I think he actually was I think Brian's paraphrasing. You just made me joke, but thank you.
I don't get alien. I mean, I know enough about the Ninja Turtles to know that just seems really weird to me. How you gonna? I don't know.
That's weird.
Well, come on.
Baby turtles mutating because they were in some ooze.
Yeah.
That's not.
And they're being chased around by a crazy hockey-faced guy with razor blades.
Trained by a giant rat.
Nobody took the Ninja Turtles seriously. It's not like this is like a serious story. This is like...
Yeah, that's why I don't understand why he needs to change it. I mean, I'm sure in the script it'll make all kinds of sense, but it didn't need to make sense the first time.
How successful was that last animated one they did? TMNT
it was like $50 million. Was
it?
It made 50. It wasn't. It was okay.
More on video, or did it do well?
Yeah, it did okay. It didn't do enough for a sequel, obviously.
Yeah.
See, this is one of those things, one of those details that I don't mind changing. This doesn't bother me at all. I maybe even like it more than the idea of radioactive ooze.
Why? And I'm still recovering from that choking spree. But
everybody knows at this point that, with radioactive ooze, all you get are polyps, cancer polyps on your ass. Yeah. We don't want
cancer turtles.
Right, exactly.
Cancer turtles.
So, you get cancer with radioactive stuff. You don't create superpowers anymore. Sorry.
I don't know. That's a big change, though.
Are they going to go, is it said if they're going to go like live action, if it's going to be animated again? Or
it's going to be a mix.
It's going to be a mix?
Yep.
So they're not going to have big rubber suits?
No, I think the turtles are going to be CGI and everything else will be real people.
But it's not like, the turtle, it's not like he's changing the turtles to porcupines.
No, he's not changing that. He's just changing the origin.
It's really a small detail that you'll never see again in the rest of the movie. It's just 1 or 2 minutes worth of information, I'm sure.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Is there any director that would make you want to see it more? I mean, you don't have any interest in the Ninja Turtles.
Well,
right?
He's not directing it. He's producing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's Platinum Dunes. He's the production company. So there won't be lots of explosions in the movie, because now he's paying for it, so he wants to lower that budget. But we'll see what happens. It could be like Spider-Man when they made the web shoot out of his wrist instead of having the web shooting that he designed. Maybe it'll be like that where people eventually just get over it. But they're making a big ruckus on the internet.
Well,
I mean, you're always going to have when you're sourcing material like this, you're always going to have the diehards, the people that are totally committed to 100% the way that the comic and the graphic novels and stuff were out. So.
Yeah, but the Ninja Turtles seems like something that was cool when we were kids. And
they were.
And didn't go into adulthood in a positive way. Like nobody in adult is like, yeah, Ninja Turtles. Like you are like I don't know.
You're not. I don't think you're hanging out in the right geek circle.
Yeah,
right. You're not hanging out at the right middle schools there, Scott.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
Turtles
if you were to go to
shell.
Comic-Con, you're more than likely going to run into a lot of people pretty diehard about it.
Was not aware. I haven't heard
Fuck,
anybody.
it's the only thing Corey Feldman's got in his life is he's played one of these guys. It's true.
I don't know. I was too old when the cartoon started hitting big. I think I was like 17 when that thing got going, and by that time I didn't have any interest in watching a kid's cartoon, especially when all they did was slurp down pizza and yell cowabunga. I'd read the comic a little bit back when it was, the original black and white and far more gritty than that shitty cartoon was. So, and the Man in Suits movies they did, outside of Vanilla Ice's, Ninja Turtle song, did nothing for me either. So this thing getting a reboot elicits very little reaction for me. I don't give a shit. I do think aliens are a more interesting concept than, irradiated turtles, but we'll see.
I like the idea of cancer turtles. I kind of hope they go with that.
It'll be a real short movie.
Let's talk about
maybe a really long, slow dying movie. Kind of like Drive.
Wow, that's just.
It'll be the end of Star Trek 2. For about an hour and a half.
Ryan Gosling shows up.
You see how I slipped that in there?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, every week we talk about the newest trailers that have hit. Anything that's really popular and catching our eye. This week we have 3 new ones. You can always find them if you want to watch them on thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Trailers, recent episodes. All 3 of them will be on there. They already are on there, actually. The first one that we saw, Chernobyl Diaries. This is basically a bunch of kids go to visit the old site of the Chernobyl accident, and then crazy shit ensues. Or zombie kids. I can't decide which. I think this looks really cool. It looks like an interesting take on horror flicks.
You left out the biggest part.
Okay, go ahead.
Who directed it?
Who directed it?
Oren Peli.
What did he do?
He did the Paranormal Activity movies.
Oh, I like him. Sweet.
And he's, one of the creators of that TV show, The River.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is his kind of return to the found footage genre that he really helped, I think, take to new levels.
I don't think this. It doesn't look like a found footage movie though.
It doesn't look like a fully found. There's a few scenes.
There are a lot of elements of it.
Yeah.
But it looks like a real movie for the majority of it.
I had never even heard of this until you had us watch the trailer. I think this looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. It
looks like a fun horror flick.
And I don't know a whole lot about the history. I know the name just from the nuclear disaster. But
they had a lot of cancer turtles. They did. Yeah.
They didn't really make ninja status.
The little
they
kids
got a whole shit ton of tumors.
Wouldn't it be sweet if those kids just jumped out with "Cowabunga"? The movie's over. Well, it looks really cool. You should definitely check it out on thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That said, I know it's Oren. You liked him a lot. Justin, you want to see this?
I do, and I have to make an adjustment. He produced it. It's a part of his production company. He didn't actually direct it.
Well, they're pimping his name a lot, though. So
his name
it's
is
an easy
all
mistake to make.
it.
You assume that he made it. It's like Chernobyl, Oren Peli, Diaries, Oren Peli.
Right. I think it looks cool, and I'm really interested to see what they do with it. It definitely looks spooky. I just can't tell if it's ghosts or if it's some kind of mutant thing, monster.
The hills have
whatever.
eyes. But it's and dilapidated.
But I think that's a good thing that we don't know at this point.
Yeah, I love it.
They revealed just enough information. In the
it's actually enough that I won't watch anything more on it. I'll wait until I see it.
I'm pretty much, exactly.
The next trailer, Justin, you go last on this one. Dark Shadows is the new Johnny Depp blockbuster, or potential blockbuster, directed by Tim Burton. And man, does it look interesting.
This is so weird, like a weird departure for
Tim
Burton.
You guys are familiar with the television show from the 70s, Dark Shadows? It was like a soap opera. They revamped it in the late 90s.
Oh, revamped it.
I see what you did there.
Did you see what I did there? And now they're revamping it yet again for the current generation for a movie. And basically, Johnny Depp is playing Mr. Head Vampire Dude, and he comes back from what he apparently was thought to be the dead, and he's trying to reunite with his love or something, or not reunite. I don't know. What did you guys think of the trailer? I think it looked absolutely stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a couple chuckles in the trailer, but some of it just seems trying too hard. And
no, there's not.
I want Justin to take over now. Justin, give us your impassioned theory on this film.
I'm afraid if I get the ball rolling, I won't stop. I'll suffice to say, I think it is a complete piece of shit. It looks to have none of, granted, the original Dark Shadows was a soap opera, and So therefore it is a bit campy. You can't take it that seriously, but to take that property and to now completely redo it as though it's, some kind of comedy slapstick bullshit, it looks dreadful. It looks absolutely dreadful. I don't know why these changes were made. I am sick to death of Tim Burton sliding down this razor blade to hell that he has put his career on. It makes no sense. I'm sick of Johnny Depp's. I watched it and I was mad that I had wasted the 2 minutes of my life that it took to watch it. I will never see this movie. It looks like complete horseshit.
Wow.
I think he's
I don't understand how these movies can still be made. There was nothing funny in that thing. Why is it in the 70s? The only saving grace this movie has is that Ava Green is in it and she is hotter than shit.
Mm-hmm.
She looks fantastic. That is the one silver lining in that pile of horse manure.
It's honestly I agree with you. It's one of the worst trailers I've seen in I don't know how long. I
feel insulted.
I thought the Chevy joke was kind of funny.
There's a couple clever jokes, I guess. I mean, in there, but I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with it. Like, honestly, this trailer made me decide I don't want to see it. Like, I was very interested in seeing it because I like the 70s TV show.
I kind of want to go back to
or 60s, whenever it was.
I kind of wish I could take this trailer and take it back to right after he directed the original Batman and say, "Look at this. This is what you're going to do down the road." And just
stop now.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Course correct.
What I don't understand is I've heard people, especially on the internets, that want to say that, oh, he's going for this specific audience or he's trying to go for a broad comedy. I didn't see any of that. All I saw was bad timing, bad humor, no real direction. It seemed like the trailer couldn't even decide what kind of movie it's going to be. Is it really a vampire movie or is it he's trying to fight to get his life back? What the hell is it?
The one thing I will give the trailer, because again, I went into this trailer not knowing anything about it, is that the trailer started and I see Tim Burton and I think, oh, okay, we got a vampire, typical Tim Burton thing. And then as soon as that line hits where the guy says it's 1979, I went, what? And the rest of the trailer just was a complete shock to me. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So you just heard that record needle slide across the record.
Yeah. That's that damn near went through my head.
I couldn't help but think of the Flintstones.
Oh, yeah.
Movie adaptation of it. It's just
bad.
Stupid. Yeah, bad.
You want to know what I kept thinking of? I swear to God, Brady Bunch movie.
Cancer Turtles?
No, that's what I'm going to think of when I leave here.
You know what?
The Brady
Cancer
Bunch
Turtles
movie.
and Jew Bears.
Oh,
that needs to be a movie.
I was just going to say that exact thing.
I eat Jew Bears when I'm at Ninja Turtle movies.
Does it give you?
No, seriously, does it give me Cancer Turtles?
I just want to know what happened to the guy that made Edward Scissorhands. Where is that Tim Burton at?
He married a crazy lady, or he's living with a crazy lady.
And now she's in every one of his
movies.
movies.
And she's in every movie he's ever made from here on out. Well, let's move on to a movie that looks fantastic. Prometheus finally had its first full-length trailer, which, of course, is on the HollywoodOutsider.com. It looks fabulous. Fabulous.
You know what I love about the second trailer is that they followed the same rules of the first one, is that they give you just enough to make it interesting without giving away too much information. Mm-hmm. Much like you said in the last one about the Chernobyl diaries we're talking about, I've seen enough that I'm okay with avoiding anything else on this, until it comes out. So it looks awesome.
It looks good. And I do want to preface to let people know it is not a prequel to Alien. I think there's been some confusion on the internet. It is not really a prequel to Alien. It's set in the same universe, but it will tie into the Alien world at some point, but only at the very end of the movie. Mm-hmm. So the movie is actually its own thing.
How do you?
And I have no idea how that happens. I'm just telling you what Mr. Ridley Scott said. Did you fall asleep?
That is bullshit.
That's what he says.
I don't give a shit what he says. This is clearly a prequel to Alien.
I'm with Justin.
It has got the ship. It has got the pilot. And I don't give a fuck if all that stuff is only revealed at the very end of the movie. It still makes it a prequel. Why is he wanting to somehow mask this?
I don't know.
Alien is a beloved film. It's not like he made some turd that now he's
even the
trying
title
to
sequence
avoid.
in the title sequence in the previews is the same way that the Alien graphics.
I am the messenger. You can't shoot me through
And
the
those
airwaves.
stone-looking egg things, the way they're shown is exactly the way those eggs were shown in other Alien movies. So it's not like this is somehow that you can't know the lineage of the film.
Here's what I think. I think the story is in the same world. I think it's very reminiscent, but I don't think it's actually aliens bursting out of people's chests at all.
But that's not. But that doesn't. That is not the sole requirement to make this a prequel. The world this is sat on is the exact same world that the Nostromo discovers. It's the same place that they go down and find. So he can parse it and he can explain it however he wants. The fact of the matter is that this story ties directly into the Alien films, and
well, whatever he says, it looks fantastic.
It does. It looks phenomenal, which is why I'm so. I'm blown away that he is still trying to say this is not what it is. It looks fantastic. In fact, the Avengers now has a definite contender for my most anticipated film. The trailer is chock-a-block full of drama and tension and action and wonderful looking storytelling. The special effect, the whole thing is. I could not have wanted a better looking film.
From a marketing standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to me why you wouldn't want to correlate it with the Alien franchise.
The Alien films, contrary to popular belief, the first two were very profitable. The last two were not. The Alien versus Predator movie, the first one, very profitable. The second one was not. These are facts. I'm not trying to dispel anything. I think he's trying to pull away. He doesn't want it to be seen as just an Alien movie. I think he wants it to be its own thing. That's what I think he's doing.
So it's more an artistic thing.
No, I think it's a marketing thing. I think it's a profitability thing. I think Alien, just because it's well loved doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna reap financial rewards.
But the proof is in the pudding with Alien Resurrection, for God's sakes. But I mean, from just the trailer, this looks like it's not going to be that level of quality at all. This looks like it's well acted, good action scenes.
I don't think he wants it to be seen as Alien 6. And it probably shouldn't be, because I don't think it's going to be the same kind of thing. There might be aliens in it, but I don't think it's going to be the same kind. I don't think it's going to be what you've seen before.
Right.
And I think at the end, maybe they'll tie in that, like they'll find an egg or something. I don't know. But it's not going to be what we expect. I don't think it's a direct Alien prequel. I think he's carefully choosing his words is what he's doing.
Right.
Stump the HO.
Stump the HO is our weekly contest where one podcaster tries to stump the other podcasters by a trivia question. He asks us one, and we're not allowed to Google it or anything else, and then we'll find out what the answer is later in the show. This week it is Justin McCumber's turn. Justin, go. Stump us HOs.
Well, I knew we were going to be talking about aliens today, or the Alien film, and originally the Alien film was going to be directed by a director by the name of Walter Hill. But at the last second, he had to back out and asked Ridley Scott to come in and direct Alien for him. When I was investigating Mr. Hill and looked through his credits, I noticed that he directed a film that one of us actually talked about in one of our flashbacks.
Okay.
And I want to know if any of you guys knew which film it was that he directed, that you actually mentioned on the show. So here we go. A, Crossroads, B, The Wraith, C, Running Scared, or D, The Gift.
Crossroads. That's my
Do
answer.
you say A?
I say A.
I was going to say the same, actually.
Scott says A.
What's the director's name?
Walter Hill. So if you're Googling, you can...
He did 48 hours. He better not be Googling, because that's breaking the rules.
I will go with... So we got Crossroads, The Wraith.
Running Scared, and The Gift.
I'll go with The Gift. Just to mix it up a little bit.
Good. Whenever we all answer the same one, it gets kind of boring.
Okay. Well, we will find out the answer a little later in the show, right about before our From the Outside In topic, which is going to be very exciting. This week, on the big screen, we are going to review 21 Jump Street. Scott and I went and saw this cinematic classic.
I didn't go alone this time.
Yeah, you went with people this time?
Yeah, 3 of them.
That's good. Well, here's a quick rundown of what the movie is. 21 Jump Street has Schmidt and Janko. That's Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. They're basically bike cops. They went to high school together, they become cops, now they're bike cops. And they finally get a chance to do some real police work through an undercover high school division called 21 Jump Street. It's based very loosely on the 80s TV series that gave Johnny Depp, who's now starring in shitty Tim Burton movies, his start. Once they infiltrate the school, they have to find a dealer and a supplier of a new designer drug, as well as relive their senior year. Scotty, what'd you think of 21 Jump Street?
I thought this was freaking hilarious. I will say I wish I wouldn't have watched the Red Band trailer that hit YouTube, because it gave away a lot of the funny moments that would have been a lot funnier seeing it without having seen it first. But wow, this is a lot funnier than I expected. I laughed out loud continuously through this movie, and it wasn't just the comedy just kept coming and coming. You almost didn't get a break from the humor.
Okay.
I think Channing Tatum is fantastic as in a comedic role. Like, he's been in all of these lovey-dovey movies or brawler movies or dance movies, and he's funny. I never thought that was possible. Jonah Hill is pretty much Jonah Hill, but the two of them play off each other so well that you don't notice. You're not frustrated with him like you were in Superbad.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's a fun story. There's actually some pretty fun action scenes in it. Some great one-liners that I've been quoting ever since I saw it. So it was a blast. I had a lot of fun with it.
I thought it was good how they didn't take like a full-on comedy route.
Yeah.
Nor did they do like the faithful homage route. They kind of just did an action comedy. It's a little over the top, but the characters like stay grounded in that universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and it was great how they kind of made fun of what they were doing. There's a line in the movie where they actually make fun of it being a remake or a reboot.
Yeah, like they basically say how most remakes are shit.
Yeah,
you know,
and it was great. It was so clever and just
a lot of it was clever. I thought Jonah Hill was good, but Channing Tatum was just a fucking genius.
He is.
That just blew me away how good he was, and I was shocked how funny he stayed throughout the whole movie. I thought for sure, well, this is going to be like he's going to play the dumb guy, and eventually he's going to get old. But he was spot on.
Yeah.
That James Franco creepy almost twin brother, Dave Franco.
He looks so much like
He
James
looks
Franco.
just like his brother. He's pretty solid. He's a charismatic, popular kid, so to speak, quote unquote. Really liked Ice Cube as the captain stereotype. He actually does a pretty good job not going too far with his role. The comedy's very, very R-rated. The only thing this is the one thing I really didn't like about the movie is there's way too many penis jokes. Like, penis jokes can be funny, but they do so many of them. I mean, like every 5 minutes there's like a dick joke. That got old. That got really old after a little bit. But most of the other humor hit really hard.
The one character I did not like, or actually it's the actor more than the character, is that, and I don't know his name, but the guy from The Hangover, the in the face guy.
Oh, the guy that plays the gym teacher?
Yeah.
I like him. He's a little too over the top. But...
Yeah.
Ron Riggle?
Yeah, Ron Riggle.
He was hysterical, though, in The Hangover.
In the Hangover, yeah. This was just, he was a little too much for me. Too much off the nose, I guess, instead of on the nose. And the teacher, the girl from
the redhead virgin from Bridesmaids or whatever.
In The Office.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny as a dirty whore.
Yeah, she was funny.
She's such a good dirty whore. The thing about the movie I like the most, I think, is how they switch the roles, where nerds now are really popular and the jocks are just pompous assholes.
Yeah.
And, Channing Tatum basically starts his revamped high school career. He tells, and I'm not really spoiling a lot, but he tells Jonah Hill, hey, if somebody gets in your face, you punch him in the face. You don't take no shit from anybody. He's trying to teach him how to be a jock. So black guy basically says something to Channing Tatum, and he just punches him in the face just for no reason.
Yeah.
And then, come to find out he's a smart black guy. And, basically it almost gets Channing Tatum expelled the first day. It's just that kind of stuff where they actually play on the stereotypes from past teen movies and that sort of thing. It's very clever. So, overall, I laughed my ass off. And outside of going a little too far with the bathroom humor a few times, I thought it was a very solid, funny film. I gave it 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8 as well, actually.
Sweet. If they would have cut the penis jokes down a little bit, except for some of the really clever ones at the end, it probably would have been a 9. It was really good. It was just some of it went too far.
I thought the one at the beginning when they were bike cops was pretty funny.
Yeah, some of it was funny, but the rule of 3. It's funny 3 times, then it's not funny anymore. So
instead of dollars, maybe you should have measured it in inches.
Is that why you didn't have a third child?
Yes, that's probably why. Okay, well, that's 21 Jump Street. I give it an 8. Scott gives it an 8 as well. So we both like it. And I know a lot of people that have seen this already because it made $36.3 million over the weekend. It's the number 1 movie, and they all loved it. No, I haven't heard a bad thing about it. So good for them. Obviously, there's probably going to be a sequel coming up. There is a couple clever cameos in 21 Jump Street for you to look for, but try not to read too many reviews where they spoil them because that'll really ruin it. Seriously, a couple of the cameos are hysterical. Dr. Seuss's The Lorax was number 2 with $22.7 million. That thing's got $158 million in the till. It's going to probably hit $200 million.
What was the budget on that one?
It's like $75 million.
That's
$70
doing
million?
really well.
Yep. John Carter, it dropped 55%, which is not good at all. But it's pretty standard for a big sci-fi tentpole.
Boring movies. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Shut up. Made $13.5 million, and it's made $53 million in the U.S. It'll probably make $80 million tops in the U.S. So, very quick mention, last week's episode 33, we talked about the March 23rd release, The Hunger Games, which is coming out. It probably will be out by the time you listen to this episode. And what the reviews are saying so far is that the damn thing is good. It's not like Twilight. It actually has some girth to it. And we also reviewed John Carter, where you can listen to that review and just skip through everything Scott Clark says and listen to me.
Or other way around, whichever. If you like good movies.
If you want to do it right, you would just listen to what I have to say.
Or, if you like good
I
movies,
think you should just edit him right out.
I think I might go back and do that with a YouTube clip of just me reviewing
it might get
it.
pulled, though, if you take out my stuff.
That's true.
You just have a donkey brain over his entire part.
Let's talk about
Speaking of Hunger Games, though, I will say if you do plan on going to see it this weekend, go ahead and order your tickets online if you can. Mm-hmm. Because I had a hard time ordering mine on Fandango earlier today.
Yeah, they're saying that the early pre-release tickets are outdoing, or at least projected to outdo the last Twilight movie. So this could be a really huge movie. And they're doing a pretty good job of marketing it too, I think.
Yeah, but I was trying to order through my Fandango.
Fandango.
And it was telling me that it's sold out. Everything I was trying, I was going, damn, this thing's already sold out. And then I just tried it online a couple hours ago and on the computer, and it went through then. But so I don't know. It's a little bit that I've seen too. It's they're saying that it's already setting records. So if you plan on going to see it, don't wait till showing up at the theater for the 7:30, 8 o'clock movie and expect to get a ticket.
Wow, it's really selling that well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Go Hunger Games. Let's talk about what's coming out March 30th. Wide releases only. Goon with Sean William Scott as an angry hockey player, and the controversial documentary Bully will both be out in limited release, but we're not going to talk about those because it's limited. We're only talking about wide releases.
Whatever. I still want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it. If it comes to my city, I will see Bully, not Goon. I don't really care.
No, I want to see Goon. But then again, it looks like probably the best hockey movie since Slapshot. So.
Yeah, well,
but
whatever
you've
that
never
means.
seen Slapshot, so you wouldn't know.
Whatever that means. Mirror, Mirror is the first one of the first of 2 Snow White movies coming out in the next 2 months, and that stars Julia Roberts in Tarsum Singh, who did Immortals. It's his take on Snow White. 2 months before Charlize's movie comes out, he's attempting the same thing. Julia Roberts is starring as the evil queen. She rules her kingdom. Snow White, played by Lily Collins, joins up with 7 dwarf rebels to reclaim her birthright and restore the kingdom to its former glory. Armie Hammer also shows up as the prince or whatever, the guy from Social Network.
Ugh.
Yeah, this movie looks like shit.
It looks terrible. This looks like a Tim Burton film.
It's the new Tim Burton. I might get dragged to this movie, unfortunately. My wife really wants to see it.
I'm so sorry.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be huge.
iPhone.
I think it'll be huge with families. I really do. But I don't see why. I just don't. I think it looks bad. Like, bad.
Dreadful.
Yeah, there you go.
Horrible.
Dreadful. Yeah. Between this and Snow White and the Huntsman, which is coming out in a couple months, I think I can wait.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, no
wait for
contest.
that one. Go find the 5 minutes. It's actually on Hollywood Outsider Facebook page, where we've got the clip for the 5-minute section for that trailer, and it looks amazing. This does not. This looks almost as good as his last movie, Immortals, which is shit. So, congratulations, he made more shit. Wrath of the Titans is the second wide release. That has Sam, I'm going to be in all kinds of crazy shit, Worthington. Returning as Perseus, not Harry Hamlin. It's going to be Sam Worthington. And the sequel, many thought need not be made, because I really didn't like the first one.
It looks pretty sexy, though. I'm not going to lie.
There you go. Explain what it is. Perseus lives a nice little quiet life with his 10-year-old son, Helios, which, gay name. Should name him something manly like Zeus 2.
Like Perseus?
Yeah. Touche. Well, he's hanging out with his kid when his dad Zeus starts to lose control of the Titans and their leader Kronos, who's also Zeus's dad. So basically, Zeus locked up his papa. After Zeus is captured, Perseus sets out to restore human faith in the gods as well as save his daddy-o. I didn't like Clash of the Titans. I thought it was one of the most boring, bland movies I'd seen in a long time. This looks really good. Wrath of the Titans looks kick-ass.
I agree.
Go ahead, Justin.
No.
Oh,
I think it looks good. It's certainly, between this and Mirror Mirror, is there even a contest as to which one's the movie that deserves your dollar and your attention more? But no, it looks, like Scotty said, it looks sexy as shit. I really do want to see this.
Why did they film this one in 3D or?
Yes, I
They
checked
did.
on that. Yep.
So it's not post-production stuff like the first one.
Correct.
Okay.
This one was filmed in 3D. Now,
I didn't think the first one was terrible. I thought it was all right. I mean, but see, then again, I'm not one of those people who romanticize the original Clash of the Titans. I just, Ray Harryhausen's stop motion just never was something that I enjoyed. And so those people who like it for that or whatever, I enjoyed the movie as a kid because it was a fantasy film, but it never lodged in my heart the way like, Star Wars did. So when they remade it, I didn't go into it with any kind of hatred. And when I came out, I was like, it was all right. The only thing I didn't really like was the armor, Zeus wore and the other Titans. I mean, the other gods of Olympus. It looked kind of silly and chromy, but this one really looks like they stepped up their game and said, all right, we're no longer shackled to that old film and we can do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put our balls out there and make something huge. And it looks big. And I'm glad that they're sticking with the Greek mythology of, the Titans being the gods' parents and Zeus overthrowing them and all that. Looks good.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with you on that 100%. I'm glad they don't have to abide by the 80s movie this time. So it looks good. I actually want to see it. And I'm going to wait to see reviews because the first one got me with the trailer too. And I won't be duped again. So if the trailers are good, I will probably be there. So that's, I assume, our universal pick of the week. Unless anybody just wants to be a rebel and go with Mirror Mirror. Anyone? Okay. Ugh. All right. We're going with Wrath of the Titans. So if you want to spend your dollar, spend it there.
What's this movie?
Let's go to the weekly What's This Movie quote. Each week we play a random movie quote and ask listeners to guess or email us with their guesses, which you can do on, you can Twitter us at H_outsider or email it at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Last week's answer was Bull Durham. And Scott M. and Sean M., who also got last week's right. These sons of bitches are good. Got that one. This week, one of our listeners, AP Stevens, he's going to pick a clip, so listen to it here.
You just listen to the old Pork Chop Express and take his advice on a dark and stormy night, all right? When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, and he looks you crooked in the eye, and he asks you if you've paid your dues, well, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
And that was our movie quote. If you guys think you know what that was, then be sure to tweet us at H_outsider or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. If you get it right, we will mention you on next week's show. Okay, let's move on to the couch, where we talk about the newest in TV news and DVD, home video, that sort of thing. A couple of quick stories. Kathy Bates has signed on to play the ghost of Charlie Harper on 2.5 Men. That's Charlie Sheen's character.
That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I'm sure they're going to say, she's reincarnated as a chubby elderly woman, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe she's a medium.
I think it's funny. No?
I don't know. I never liked that show, so I can't.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, she's so far away from Charlie Sheen though that I kind of agree that there is a certain funny element about it, and she is good at humor.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really don't watch the show regularly enough anyway, so it's no big deal to me, but it is kind of an interesting little thing they're pulling.
I think it could be really clever. I really do. I mean, I'm not saying it's like the best idea ever, but I don't know. It's an interesting take since they obviously can't have Charlie Sheen back. I don't think he wants to come back.
He's too busy doing Comcast or whatever cable commercials.
Oh yeah, don't be Charlie Sheen. Don't be playing with Charlie Sheen trapped in the office or whatever it is. Don't play Platoon with Charlie Sheen.
I thought that one's actually pretty funny.
Oh my God. Oh boy. All right. Well, next thing, Grimm got a full 22 episode season 2 order, so it's coming back for a full season. That really surprised me.
Me too.
Because it was not getting great ratings. It's just wow.
I hope they're able to do something interesting with it, because other than just this constant stream of Monster of the Week episodes, I feel like it's so much potential being squandered. There are real moments where the show has some brilliance in it. And I know that if they could just create some kind of central narrative the way, the Buffy did or Supernatural did, or, shows like it could really be good. But every episode, there is one thin central narrative that barely weaves through it all. Mostly it's just what's the new weirdness that's cropped up this week. And it's starting to bore the shit out of me, but hopefully this is a sign that, okay, we've established a little bit of an audience. Let's now take this and do something interesting. I'm really hoping that that's what this means.
Yeah, I want them to have some kind of. Now I'm about 2 or 3 episodes behind, I think. So I'm there. Maybe they're touching on this, but at the very beginning, the first 2 or 3 episodes, they had this story with the captain of the police department was actually he's a monster too, and actually didn't he try to have the main character killed or something like that? And he had his some blonde-headed girl that she's on all the promos, and she hasn't been seen really since, but she's like his henchman, and she went to go try to kill, I think she tried to kill his aunt at the beginning of the series. Mm-hmm. And there's this stuff, and then they were realizing that he's a Grimm, and all of a sudden it just kind of quit. And now it's just week to week. It's like, okay, it's a Spider Woman that he's got to fight. Oh, hey, it's some rat people. It's like you say, it's just the week to week, monster of the week type of show. And it's really kind of starting to bore me too. That's why I'm surprised that I don't need 22 episodes of this. Well, I want 22 episodes of The Walking Dead. I don't want 22 episodes of Grimm. Yeah. It's entertaining, but I don't need that many.
I want a mythology. I want something consistent where I see a story going somewhere. Because the Freak of the Week thing, it's old. I've got X-Files. I've got it all on DVD. I'm okay with it.
I want a dude Buffy. That's what I want.
You want to do
Buffy? We all
Buffy?
want to do Buffy.
Yeah, who doesn't?
A dude.
Oh,
Buffy.
Sorry.
Sorry. These earphones.
But yeah, I'd like to do Buffy too.
Maybe a few years ago. I don't know if I want to do it anymore. She's kind of worn out her welcome.
She's a really weird looking nose.
She's got a weird looking nose.
It's not like she looks like Kathy Bates now.
That's true.
That's true, but
I'd hit her sister though, Michelle Trachtenberg. Oh my god!
I didn't know that was her sister.
Well, not in real life. In
not
the show.
in real, not
in
no,
Buffy.
on the show.
Oh, Buffy. Yeah, don't try to get in this conversation, Scott. This one you'll be lost in.
I know.
Don't get off the porch. You're not ready to run with the big dogs.
Well, here's a quick Walking Dead tidbit, and this is not a spoiler because it was very publicized all over the internet. Danai Guerrera, I can't pronounce it. Whatever that.
You're on your own with this one,
Thanks.
Slim.
was cast in the fan favorite role of Michonne on Walking Dead Season 3. Now, basically, that's like an ass-kicking African-American chick who is part of the prison atmosphere where the governor resides. And if you ever read the comic book, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely look it up because the character is pretty badass.
Yep.
She's basically like Beatrice Kiddo from Kill Bill. But
She's like a zombie Blade.
She's a zombie Blade. She's bad. That's a good way to put it. Badass. And also, the finale broke records for cable with over 9 million viewers. Doesn't sound like much for regular TV, but for a cable show, that's huge. Huge.
Everybody on Facebook that night was talking about
it's just huge.
Watching the finale.
It shocks me.
That was such, and especially the first half of that show was so intense.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that more in a little bit, but
all right.
Yeah. Another big little casting tidbit I saw right before we went to air, like we're rolling in the dough right now. Adam Levine of Maroon 5 and the Voice, he's being cast for his acting debut on American Horror Story Season 2.
Oh, cool.
As a recurring character.
I like that guy.
Recurring character.
Good for him.
Yeah. So I just saw that and I thought you guys might like to hear that.
That is interesting.
Last piece of TV news, the Battlestar Galactica spinoff Blood and Chrome, which was originally supposed to be a web series, then it was going to be a series. Well, they did make a TV movie, and there's a little movie trailer making its ways, or a TV movie trailer making its ways throughout the internet. It's not going to series. It's actually just going to be this one TV movie, 90 minutes long, and that's all you're ever going to see. So people that are hoping to get a series out of it, Sci-Fi apparently does not have the funds to do it. Justin, what do you think about that?
Well, let me correct you. They made a pilot
Yes.
for a show. But because they're too busy spending all of their money making horse shit mecha shark versus giant octopus fucking movies, they don't have the money that it takes to make this into a show, a spinoff of the only really good show outside of possibly Eureka that channel has ever produced. Now, granted, I didn't watch Caprica outside of the pilot because the pilot was so goddamn boring.
It was very boring.
I couldn't find myself to have enough desire to actually watch kind of a more political drama of Battlestar. That was not what I ever watched Battlestar for, and so I wasn't interested. This show, I'm sorry, this telemovie or whatever the fuck they're turning it into is exactly what I want in a Battlestar TV show. Explosions, space battles, drama, action. This trailer is phenomenal. I watched it with, pardon me, Raging Geek would. Desperate that, yes, they're going to return and give me a show that will rival Battlestar, which, fuck the haters, I thought it was fantastic. Even the existential ending I thought was appropriate given the direction that show was going in. I loved it, and this seemed like it was a return to that. Now I feel like I have been robbed. That Sci-Fi has decided that, no, let's go ahead and make shitty little movies that we can make, a $50 on, as opposed to putting our money into something that can get Sci-Fi fans back. Sci-Fi, you are a joke. You're a joke of a network, and everybody knows it, and the only reason they watch it is so they can get drunk with their friends and catcall the TV MST3K style. You're
Richard
a joke.
Grieco needs somewhere to work. I stand behind that statement.
It looks fantastic.
It does.
How they made it, I don't know. How
they
made Battlestar, I don't know.
I still am convinced that somebody else made that and they somehow got the rights.
Oh, God.
But But when it comes out, which that release date has not been announced yet, it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool pilot for an unmanned TV series. But if enough people watch it, they will probably look at it. So there you go. There's how you get your series. Everybody tune in. So if we have about 15 million people that listen to the show and then turn into to the TV show, we can save it. It's probably not going to happen.
Let's start the internet campaign now. Those always work.
Let's get going. Yeah, they always do.
We'll send them Chrome.
Lots and lots of
Lots
Chrome.
of Chrome that we bled on. That'll work. Just
All right.
bumpers.
Let's
piling
talk
up.
about the Walking Dead finale. I will mention Sean McGuire sent in an email, edited a little bit for time, but he kind of talks about the finale and surmises it a little bit without giving any spoilers away, so I will read that. I just wanted to chime in and talk about the ending of The Walking Dead. I have to say the season finale was amazing. I have never been more hyped for a new season to start. Sadly, we all must wait. The group was disheveled about midpoint in the episode, only to fight through a horde of zombies, and those who survived, with the exception of one, managed to reunite more hopeless than ever. With what little hope they have now is square on Rick's shoulders, but he is no longer the same Rick we all have empathy for anymore. The group also learns of a horrifying secret that Rick has been keeping from them about the state of their world. The character development to this point has been excellent, and this episode was no different. I really like how he writes this without spoiling everything. A new fan-favorite character from the comics was introduced at the end of the show, who happened to save the life of another strong character. The apex of the episode pans out to reveal what is truly an oh-my-god moment. Bring on Season 3, Sean. I think that pretty much sums it up. The first half hour, and nobody give a spoiler away, please. For some people DVR it, and Scott obviously won't watch it until 4 years from now. So probably
we'll all be The Walking Dead before he watches it.
But I thought it was fantastic, and I really, it was everything a finale should be. It got the story going for the next season. It had tons of action and also had a lot of character development. I didn't know really where they were going to go with a couple characters, and definitely worked out. You lose a couple people, you gain a couple people. I thought it was a great finale. What you guys think?
I thought it was a great finale, but at the other hand, the other side of that is I almost feel cheated. That where was this type of intensity during the season?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because there's 2 or 3 episodes that you take out a 3 or 4 minute scene, and I'm taking an hour nap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely took their sweet time getting to this finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing was good. And what's funny is when they were showing the previously on, I was looking for what you guys were talking about last week with how the closing of the show, you realize that all that walking they had done for hours and hours only took them about 100 yards from the house. I'm like, are they right? Oh shit, they are. What the hell's up with that?
I rewatched that, and yes, that's horrible.
But that said, it was a great finale. I had completely forgotten about that CDC guy telling Rick something that we didn't know. If they did that on purpose and just let that lie, hoping that people would forget it, then bravo to them, because I had it. It was fantastic. And when the one character shows up and saves one of our others, I was cheering because I've read the comic book, so I know. And then the final closing frame, I was cheering once again. I was like, yes!
And that's one thing we really can't talk about much. I'm sure it'll be all over the internet, but I don't want to be the one that spoils it. But the last shot was, for most people, they're probably like, well, what does that mean? But if you read the comics, because I only read a few of them, but I know what the governor is and all that stuff. And I was just like, yeah, season 3 should, if they don't fuck it up, should kick ass. And people were, how do I say this without spoiling for people that haven't seen it? People were up in arms because one character that was lost within the last couple episodes was a real hard loss, because it was really, the yin to Rick's yang kind of thing. It was very, a negative character. He caused a lot of conflict and that sort of thing. What are you going to do when you lose that person? Well, I can tell you what they're going to do. They didn't need that person anymore, because they're going to have a whole bunch of other ones. So I'm looking forward to season 3. Here it comes.
I'm so glad you skirted so artfully around who it was that died, and people listening have no idea.
I hope not. I hope I didn't
who you're
spoil
talking about. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done.
And Scott, you saw a couple things this past week.
I did.
Tell us about them quick.
I saw, on Brian's recommendation, I rented Melancholia.
Which is funny, because it wasn't a recommendation at all.
I know. But it was...
On his mentioning.
Yes. His mentioning is worst movie of the year.
Hey, now the boob scene, that comes highly recommended.
It wasn't worth it.
Go ahead.
Fuck this movie. God damn, is this movie terrible.
Really? I've been curious to see it.
Oh, I don't know,
It looks like a good artsy kind of film.
Oh, the first...
It's kind of, it's a curiosity, though.
Yeah,
it's a curiosity to, like, man, that bright orange thing on that stove, I want to touch it.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was, and I wanted to see how bad it was. And there's no dialogue or anything for the first 5 movies. It's nothing but slow motion.
First 5 movies or minutes?
Or sorry, first 5 minutes of this movie.
It feels like 5 movies though.
Oh, it is. It's like seriously like 45 to 60 seconds of a shot of Kirsten Dunst in like super slow motion, doing absolutely nothing, just standing and staring at the screen.
Yeah, It opens up with these. It's like super slow-mo images that make absolutely no sense until later in the movie.
Yeah. And then her character, I mean, I will give her credit. She did a really good acting job. And I think we talked, Brian, you said this was your actress of the year last year, right? If I remember right.
Yeah.
Yep. She did a really good job, but there was just so much drama and uncomfortable stuff, and her character was annoying, and it's her wedding day, and she's upset. Like it's supposed to be the most happy day of her life, and she's just upset for no apparent reason, and it should be the husband that should be upset.
What'd you give it out of 10?
1.5.
Okay.
It gets a half because you get to see her boobs, and that's about it.
So Melancholia, it's good for boobs, and that's it.
Oh, it's terrible. That's terrible. I also watched Tower Heist.
Okay.
Which I missed in the theater, and that was a lot of fun. I think what's interesting about that is they sold it as a pure comedy, and this is a legitimate heist movie that had good comedy intermixed with it. So there's a lot of fun, and it's old school Eddie Murphy instead of
very much so.
Instead of I don't know, Dr. Dolittle and whatever. So I would actually probably give that one 8.
That's what I gave it when it came in the theater. Yeah, I thought it was a really good movie.
It was. I
they
was
gave
surprised.
You just enough Eddie, but not too much Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't over the top, and there was some legitimate fun heist stuff going on. It felt a little Ocean's 11 a couple points. Not as good, but
shit. Now you're selling me on it.
It's a fun movie, Justin. I think you should check it out. It's one that I actually am thinking about buying because it's one of those where it's not like my favorite movie of the year, and it wasn't in my top 5, but it's one that I would watch it several times because it's fun.
The cast is just so great. Even Gabrielle Sidibe, she was hilarious, and it's just a lot of fun.
Just funny. Let's move on real quick. What the new release is coming out? Chipmunks 3, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, A Dangerous Method, In the Land of Blood and Honey. So it's a lot of fun movies. Air Collision, which is the cheesiest looking movie ever, and go find it because it's basically 2 planes just heading at each other. Oh, the tension. And South Park, the 15th fucking season.
I can't believe that's 15
I stopped watching it like 10 years ago, so I really couldn't tell you anything about it. I'm sure it's still funny, biting commentary. I'm just not interested. Out of those, a pick of the week for a purchase, maybe Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close because my wife saw it and she raved about it. So
I had the same pick, but just more or less because it was nominated for an Oscar, and I'm curious, but nothing else, and more process of elimination than anything else.
Brian?
What's the Dangerous Method? Which one is that?
That's the one where Freud is, trying to get somebody to bang. It's got Viggo Mortensen in it.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen, that's right.
Michael Fassbender, who's in every movie of 2012 and 11.
I don't want to see any of them.
Okay.
In the Land of Blood and Honey, just because it's like an Eastern European war thing with, I think it's a love story, but at least maybe somebody gets blown up.
Okay.
So
let's move on to Stump the HO. What is the answer? Well, first, repeat the question, Justin, if you would. What was our Stump the HO question?
Walter Hill was originally supposed to direct Alien, but he had to back out the last minute, so he asked Ridley Scott to take over the movie for him. He also directed one of the movies that we all talked about, or one of us talked about anyway, in our little flashback section. Which film was it? A, Crossroads, B, The Wraith, C, Running Scared, or D, The Gift. Aaron, you and Scott picked Crossroads, and Brian, you picked The Gift.
Yep.
Of course, Aaron and Scott were correct. It was Crossroads. I believe The Gift. Wasn't that actually directed by Sam Raimi?
Sam Raimi, yes, it was.
I didn't remember that until the gift was coming out of my mouth. I was thinking, oh yeah, Sam Raimi directed that. That might be, that probably won't be chosen. And then Brian took it.
Brian, you son of a bitch.
And if I remember right, Crossroads was Brian's.
No.
The Wraith was Tyler's.
No, Crossroads is Justin's.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay, I missed that one, but
I remember that off the top of my head.
was the Wraith?
Because I pay attention to you, Justin McCumber. Except when you want to talk about something you watched last week. Hello?
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
This is our flashback. Each week we talk about a little known or obscure film that we have seen that hopefully we can talk about, and you guys can leave the podcast with something to watch that you've never really thought about watching. This week it's my turn. So I am going to recommend the movie Clue. Clue came out way back in the 80s. This is an old-ass movie. I recently went and saw the musical revamp with my mom, and it kind of brought the movie back to my forefront, so I watched it again. Still love this movie. I saw it when it hit theaters. Originally when it hit theaters, it had 3 separate endings, 3 totally different endings. And no matter whatever theater you went and saw it at, it would have a different ending to it. So basically, you'd watch Professor Plum, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, etc., and the rest of them, as they tried to find out who killed Mr. Body in this large mansion. And that's the film. Now, they played it as a murder mystery, but also as a comedy. I mean, you've got classic comedians, Tim Curry, Martin Mull, Christopher Lloyd. I mean, there's tons of them in this movie. It's really one of my favorite comedies of all time. It really is. I can watch it anytime and enjoy it. The jokes are still funny. Mr. Green is fucking hysterical. The way that they did the actual murder mystery to how they could it could be several people that did it. The fact that they had the singing telegram girl get shot, that was awesome. It's classic. And when you watch it on DVD/Blu-ray, I think it's just DVD. I haven't seen a Blu-ray copy, but they have all 3 endings on the DVD, and it actually plays one ending, then it plays the other ending, and says, now here's what really happened, and plays the third ending. You can watch it with either one of these endings, and the movie's still good. I love this movie. I've loved it. I've seen it so many times, I can't even tell you. But unfortunately, a lot of people have never even heard of it, or they think, well, this is some stupid-ass 80s movie. The movie is a period movie. It's set in the 50s, so you can actually watch it whenever, and it's still going to play. So it's not like it's like an 80s movie. It doesn't seem like an 80s movie. Now, Scott, you're a fan as well. You like Clue, right?
I am. I actually have a friend that it's a tradition every year on his birthday. We watch Clue and make a drinking game out of it. Every time Mr. Green says, I didn't do it, you have to take a shot. And
there's a shocker.
There are 9 instances of that line in the movie.
Oh, really?
In an hour and a half.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that including all 3, with all 3 endings. So 2 + 1 + 1 + 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, that's the flashback of the week.
It's really good.
I love that movie. I love it. So you can find it on DVD. I know you can find it cheap. Pick it up. And you can always find our flashback set on the HollywoodOutsider.com. So with that, from the outside in, each week we talk about a topic that's on ours or our listeners' minds, trying to see what we think about certain things. This week it's going to be what's on our fucking minds, because we have the YouTube channel, which I'm sure, well, if you listen to the podcast, you probably don't need to look at it, but it's really where we have synopsis. We have small clips of our reviews that we put on YouTube under the Hollywood Outsider. It's like one word. So if you want to find them, you can. And basically, if we review a movie, we'll clip it and put it up there with one promotional still and our voices, no clips from the movie or sound or anything else. But basically, Act of Valor, Alliance Films is behind Act of Valor. They also produce The Hunger Games. They're one of the producers of The Hunger Games. They apparently got irritated with one of our reviews, and they sent Google a nice little email saying, shut those bitches down. So because they got one email saying that we infringed on their copyright, which we did no such thing. I checked with a fucking lawyer.
Oh, really?
Just a buddy who's a lawyer, but he's a lawyer. And he said, all I did was fair use, which is exactly what I thought I did, because I used a promotional still.
The poster.
Right, basically a poster, promotional still, and I didn't advocate. I wasn't making money off it or anything else. All I was doing was using it to this review is referencing this film. That's it. There's no sound bites. There's no direct reference, or there's no direct information or copyrighted information from that film involved in that review whatsoever.
And posters are free game, right?
Yeah, well, it's a promotional still. There's a Fair Use Act, which basically means you can use it for certain reasons, reviews being one of them. Go find any review on YouTube, and you'll find these stills all over the place. Mm-hmm. It's very, very common. and every movie reviewer uses it, et cetera, et cetera. Apparently what happens, and I called Google, and which let me tell you, it is really hard to get a hold of someone at YouTube or /Google, because Google owns YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's not like calling the hospital, calling your mom or something like that, where eventually they call you back. They don't like to talk to people. So it's really hard to get a hold of somebody. But I finally talked to them, and they said that sometimes studios do this. If they don't like a review, they'll basically send an email or make a complaint and say, they infringe on my copyright, because what YouTube does is they just pull it down, and then it's up to the person that manages that channel to argue their case or whatever with YouTube, which they don't want to do, because basically YouTube specifically tells you, if you take this up and you're wrong, because you're talking to a lot of guys that are just like us, small time people. If you're wrong, then lawyers are going to get involved. And then
small time.
Yeah. Well,
I'm big time.
Yeah, you're big time. You're a big time author. I forgot. Your book is copyrighted.
3 out of 4.
I'll allow you to keep
3 out of
that
4
interview
of
up.
us. Yeah, 3 out of 4 of us are small time.
That's true. But apparently they do that as an intimidation, because it limits how many bad reviews they get. Now, apparently, I'm sure they didn't listen to every review on the internet, but for whatever reason, they listened to our review. That's cool. But then they didn't like it, so they sent YouTube an email and basically shut it down. Now, the reason I bring this up is not only did it piss me off and irritated me and then pissed me off again, but if SOPA had gone through, that congressional act that they were talking about forever, that they were trying to get past, that thankfully the internet banded together, the only time they've ever banded together for anything positive.
Successfully,
they actually would have shut our whole website and podcast down. Basically, from that one email. Mm-hmm. From a bullshit claim that isn't even true, they would shut the whole podcast and website down. The Hollywood Outsider, the show you people love and tell all your friends about, which we wish you would tell more of them about, would be shut down for no reason other than they didn't like the fact that I bitched about the horrible acting in Act of Valor. Which
and you talk about pissing off a lot of millions of people.
Yeah. And it's not
Don't piss off the hose.
Yeah, and what's even funnier is the YouTube channel. It's just started. It's only month and a half in or something like that. So there's only like 15, 20 clips, whatever, 10, 15 clips, whatever it is. And there's not a ton of views on them, except ironically Haywire has like 200. I don't know why that one has so many, but
I have a guess.
That's what I was thinking. They thought it was Justin McCumber's book. But that's enough of me lamenting. What do you guys think of all this?
It's exactly why I was so glad that the internet took a stand on the whole SOPA thing. And it was for exactly this reason. The huge fear was that if anybody posted a review or a comment, you could have just said on your site, we're going to be reviewing Act of Valor. And then somebody in the comments section could have posted up, don't review that shit, I hated it. The people behind the movie could have stepped in and said, completely lying, of course, they're breaking our copyright, shut them down, and then the internet provider or the hosting service would have had no choice but to shut you down based only on them saying that. They didn't have to go in and do any kind of research. It would have just been this Gestapo kind of action that anybody who didn't like anything that was said about their movie, TV show, game, whatever, could use as a hammer against those people that didn't like what they put out. Thank God that didn't go through. And I'm really glad now that we've got a personal example of this kind of Nazi bullshit. And maybe I'm being extreme with the usage of Nazi, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
What's to stop you from reposting it without the promotional still to see what happens?
I have to go through an entire process with YouTube, which I'm probably going to end up, I'm debating doing, because you do get that warning about, well, if you make any mistake, we're going to sue, it could land you in court. That's scary to a small, somebody that doesn't make millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. And it should be, because your one little lawyer is not going to stand up against their army of lawyers.
Yes. It's not a fair, it's basically Davy and Goliath. And Goliath is just beating the man down saying, hey, we're the man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We didn't like your review. Fuck you. And at first I thought, because there is a thing where like a person can make a complaint and they can pull it down temporarily. No, it was actually the film company. I had to research it and everything. It's actually Alliance Films that made this claim, and it's a bullshit claim. The review wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. And it basically said, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what happens if you say you dispute it, you fight it, and they give you that warning like, hey, look, before you get on this road, things could get ugly. What happens if you dispute it and you plead your case and they say, you know what? All right. The Alliance is in the wrong here and you were doing nothing, you weren't doing anything bad.
They put the review back up.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's all I'd be fighting for. Well, the only thing I'd really be fighting for is because YouTube works on a strike system. If you violate copyrights, I think it's basically like 3 strikes you're out. So basically, we have 1 strike against us for no reason, which is unfair. It's really unfair because I wouldn't wish that on anybody else that's on YouTube because if as long as they're not breaking copyrights, then go crazy, man. Knock yourself out. Really, what we're putting out there is our own content, which we own. They don't. Alliance or anybody else does not own that. We're actually copyrighted because we're a produced act or produced art. We're technically covered under copyright law, so nobody can reproduce the Hollywood Outsider at this point because we're firmly established. But we're using clips of our own show. We don't intersperse clips from the movie, which is one of the reasons why when we first started we started using trailers, which actually they're considered fair use, but it was too close to the line, so that's why we stopped using them. And when we use a film clip, we always stay under 30 seconds because of fair use laws. We don't want to violate any copyrights because we love movies just as much as everybody else, and we're not trying to make any money off of it.
We don't make a dime.
No, we don't make shit. We're just trying. Shit. No, yeah, the T-shirts are coming, bitches.
That's right.
It's gonna be Brian's face, and it's just gonna say "fuck all." Jew bear.
Mouse pads, mugs. Oh God, you do. You need to put out a teddy bear that's a Jew bear.
So, I mean, that's really, if anything else you guys want to add on that, I just wanted to get that lament off because it was just something really irritated us here at the show. What Justin said is very correct. They could definitely have shut the whole podcast down if SOPA had went through, and that's something you need to consider the next time it comes up because it will come up again.
Yeah.
To remember that. It's simple things like that.
As much as it sucks, I can't help but be a little excited that something that we talked about or something that we've done is being seen by somebody that high up.
We struck a nerve, motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it sucks, man. And, like you said, we have a strike against this kind of thing, but somebody's listening. I think that's cool.
Somebody in Hollywood.
Yeah. Listened.
That part,
I'm sorry, what?
I just thought it was funny because in, you can tell the difference. Now, Mr. McCumber, he always eloquates himself a lot better than I do. But you can tell Brian and Scott are the positive message beamers because the first thing they said when I told them this was like, hey, somebody heard you. That's awesome. You're fucking with Hollywood. And me and Justin said the same thing I said. Fuck those bitches.
Damn the man. I think what pisses me off most is that it's a lie. The reason that they cited for shutting you down is not because you used that image. It's because you said shitty things about their movie. Mm-hmm. And so they lied. They lied. And they used this YouTube's flunkies as a method of shutting your bad review down. Well, fuck them.
And apparently YouTube just has no discretion at all. It just says, okay, so person A complains, person B, that's a strike.
Well, to some degree,
without even looking at it. I mean, because it appears that they just said, okay, we're filing a strike against you. You got to take this off, without even looking at it and going, you know what? It does not violate any of these basic rules. What is your actual beef with the Hollywood Outsider?
The guy that I talked to, and I'm not going to name him because it's works for Google, and I don't want to get the guy in trouble. But
names, bitch.
But he basically,
it's time for some transparency up in this motherfucker.
Honestly, I don't remember his name.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
But if I did, I still wouldn't say it. But what he was saying, he said sometimes studios do that with bad reviews. He named, I can't remember what was that. It was like the girl with the dragon tattoo. They did a lot of that when there were some bad reviews for that one, which surprised me. I'm like, really, bad reviews? That was a good movie. But sometimes studios do that. They'll cite any kind of copyright infringement on bad reviews to get them pulled off ASAP. So basically, the movie sells. Now, I don't know why this one particularly caught a nerve. I'm sure it's probably some guy who just spends his day going through their reviews, trying to get bad reviews off the air, whatever. But he said the reason that YouTube doesn't go through them very thoroughly is because A, they get a lot of complaints, and B, they say it's free content. We can't go through every single complaint that we get. If you want to dispute it, there's a dispute process. Go through it if you're really sure that you're 100%. And C, the biggest thing, this is the thing that struck a nerve with me, and it's probably the main reason, he said, is because now we're a corporation. Before we were just a fun little website. Now we're Google.
Yeah.
So
Better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry. They're just protecting their interests from lawsuits and whatnot.
I can't fault them for that. It's not YouTube or Google that
I get it.
mad at.
It's not. I'm not mad at you. I mean, they've got a policy. I understand. It's just, I'm probably going to have to address it just because I want that strike removed. But, whatever. We at the Hollywood Outsider say, fuck off with that bullshit. First Amendment, bitch.
We're going to boycott Alliance Films from here on out.
You should put that
Well, no,
review
because
back
they made
up.
the Hunger
It's a
Games,
picture of you flipping the camera off.
Just be like, what? Make that my next review. Copyright this, fucker.
Alliance Films, let's review them. They suck.
But no, I can't boycott them, Scott, because Hunger Games comes out and they produced it, and I want to see
after
it.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, sorry, they got me there. I want to see their movies. I don't care who's producing.
No,
it.
I'm just being funny.
As long as it's not a child molester making it, I'll go see it. So, Woody
You're not
Allen.
buying the Blu-ray of The Pianist?
No, I'm not. Won't buy Powder. Won't go see Woody Allen movies. And won't see Roman Polanski movies. So, what were you gonna say, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, you can tell us after the show. That is our From the Outside In topic. Next week we'll have something probably a little more fun, but that's something that just had to be said.
You've been chomping at the bit to talk about that
I've
all
been
night.
pissed. Next week, make sure to tune into our show because we're going to talk about the Hunger Games. I don't know. I'm seeing it. Scott's seeing it.
Yeah.
Brian, are you seeing it?
I've already got my tickets for Friday night.
Nice.
Justin, you seeing it?
I want to see it. Luckily, my wife wants to see it, but this opening week craziness will probably keep us away. Probably next week, if we can, pop in when there's not a million people going to the theater.
I won't spoil it for you.
Well, if you can get there before Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that, Scotty.
We're gonna be reviewing Hunger Games next week, so tune in for that. I want to thank each of our podcasters, Mr. Brian Williams. Brian, thank you for being on, sir.
Thanks for oppressing me.
You can always find Brian at Brian WMS. And Mr. Justin McCumber, thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you, brother. I would have picked South Park season 15. But
South Park season 15. Brian, what DVD would you have purchased?
I wouldn't
Because
have.
I totally skipped over both of them, and it's not because they aren't beloved. It's because I'm stupid.
I don't even know what the choices are anymore.
So
I'm gonna. Can I go with Hugo?
yeah,
You go.
you go. All right, and Justin can always be found on Dead Robot Society. He's the host of that podcast. It's a podcast for writers by writers. At justinmccumber.com, and his book Haywire is in stores now. It's available on Amazon.com, as well as it's a Kindle and Nook e-reader form. So,
And a quick note on that: my wife, who is not a sci-fi person at all, at least as far as books, is absolutely loving it.
really,
really?
And that's a no shitter.
really,
I mean, that's not just inflating an already inflated ego here.
I got a text from a listener too.
That's a no shitter.
I actually got a text from a listener during the show who is also reading it that has encouraged me to get started on it because he said it's really good. So
congratulations, Justin. Good job.
Thank you. Now, all of you need to go buy 10 copies for you, your friends, family.
Absolutely.
Let's not push it. All
Yeah,
right.
and anybody that wants to hear more about Justin McCumber's book, there is an interview that's up on the website at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Find that, and you can listen to my exclusive interview with Justin McCumber, author, Esquire. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Scott Clark from the Official Thread podcast, which is a podcast for gamers by gamers. Thank you, Scotty.
not a problem anytime.
You love doing the Official Thread as well.
I do.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. We got a possibility of getting a interview with one of the developers for the upcoming MechWarrior online game. So
Awesome.
Really?
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Wow.
That's thanks to Dustin.
I used to play that game back when it was on paper.
You're old
Well,
school.
you
That's
can
how old school I go.
you can find Scotty's podcast you can find him on Twitter at Official Thread. Now, how you can find us is every week you can find us on thehollywoodoutsider.com. We have a new episode every week. Usually goes up Wednesday night or Thursday morning. TheHollywoodOutsider.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/TheHollywoodOutsider. You can email us if you want to send us a Stump the HO question or any tidbits or thoughts that you had at feedback@TheHollywoodOutsider.com. Make sure to stay through our credits, through our closing songs, because usually we have some outtakes in there. Make sure you tell your friends. We really appreciate that. And subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader. Listen on your Stitcher radio app and give us a thumbs up if you do, or just any plain old RSS feed. We're also available on Twitter at H_outsider. With that, I am Aaron Peterson, host of Hollywood Outsider. And the next time you go to a movie theater, make sure
Hi, war.
and then buy popcorn.
And Jew Bears.
And Jew Bears.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
We had a hailstorm come through this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Sounds bad.
Pretty. I mean, I've been through a few hailstorms, but this was pretty.
Hailstorms or hailstorms?
Man, it's that southern stuff. It's all the same. It's like coat. So
did your roof get whipped? Did you have like a old lady under the bottom of it? Did you like hit anybody with that house?
I don't think my wife drove all the way down to Georgia.
Wow, really? Just called your wife Wicked Witch? That's cool. Oh, really, dickhead? All you want are grandkids? Guess who just got fixed? Fuck you. Here's my sperm. I froze it for you. Enjoy. Make a popsicle and shove it up your ass. Yeah, that's fucking him in two different ways. Oh, goodness.
what is that? The time release formula?
How's your book doing? Any word?
Yeah, there's lots
no.
of them. Over 100,000. It's called a book. Dumbass.
I'm so goddamn sick of sci-fi's bullshit.
I think they're just a poor company, man. I don't think they have a lot of money.
Well, maybe they stop wasting goddamn money on mecha shark shit.
So that's your mission. Next week, come up with a theme song.
You got it.
Because every superhero.
What if I got one right now?
I want to hear it. Let's go.
You want it right now, or you want me to just bring it on you live?
Wait, you got ready to cue it up?
I got it right here.
It better be funny.
You're going to do it when you introduce him? Like Prodigy or something?
Why do I feel like I need a glow stick?
For me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. just gotta clear my mind. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. You said I brought the pain, I just didn't